The following program is an OCAmedia community-produced episode of Oregon Life. We would like to thank our sponsors, the Oregon Brooklyn Optimist Club and the Oregon Freemasons. We are proud to have you as our sponsors.
I'm John Kiley. I do abstract art, and I want to talk a little bit about Vietnam. When I was sent there in 1970 and spent most of all of 1970 in Vietnam. Mostly in the Thanh Ninh province, which is west of Saigon, where the Ho Chi Minh City now. And was with the 25th Infantry Division in the Army. And was a sergeant and was involved in communications. And basically it was radio teletype, and I had a rig on top of a pickup truck, and we had secure communications to other parts of the brigade. Every day we had to go in and change the security on what the code was. And had all these different pins we had to change so that the transmission was secure. At that time, not a lot of the radios had secure capabilities, so it was good, and it was radio teletype, so we could send a lot of long messages, and also artillery coordinates. Many times many days of the week, we'd send artillery coordinates, and I lived in a bunker which was basically the size of a container, a small container, and it was underground, and there was a lot of dirt and sandbags on top, so it was very safe. And if we did get mortared multiple times, and I had nothing to worry about when I was down in that bunker. A little ways after I got there, my sister sent me some acrylic paints and a paper pad, and I began to try painting, and that's how I relaxed. I might bring a few beers down to the bunker, and we had lights in there, so I was able to turn lights on and do sketches and paints and stuff. So it was one way of staying relaxed, and it was peaceful. So that's the story with my painting. That's how I got involved in painting. And again, I say it was very restful for me. Done a lot of sketches and different art using acrylic and a pad, and eventually ran out of material. So I ended up taking one of my old fatigue shirts and I nailed it up to a board, and that became my drawing surface, so to speak. So this picture is just a representation of a Vietnamese boy, what I imagined a Vietnamese boy looked like. And it was done very quickly, as I recall. And I was able to roll it up and take it home. When I got it home, I could get it framed. Someone in my family sent me a postcard. I don't remember who it was, but it had this image on it and of a woman, And I decided to spend time and try and capture that image. And had a lot of fun doing it. This is oil paint, and then you mix the oil paint about 50-50 with cold wax, which is like a beeswax. It has a little bit of resin in it, but it's very, when you're done mixing the color with the cold wax, it becomes kind of a buttery texture. And then you simply use a squeegee to spread that around and create abstract images.
When you create abstract images, do you have an idea in your head, or is it just you flow with it?
It's, like I say, it's like me taking a trip without a destination. And sometimes I come to the destination quickly. Most of the time, it's over a long period of time. So it might take me 3 weeks to actually finish a painting.
And when you start, you don't have any idea, you're just going to do it?
Yeah, it's basically deciding what colors I'm going to work with. That's the beginning. And I try and work with those colors and try and find some contrast to the colors and vary between warm and cold colors and add variations of color just to try and make it interesting and come up with a design that I finally like.
Using warm and cold colors, what is the most one that really jumps out off of the canvas? Would it be cold or warm, or does it depend on the structure?
Well, you try and create a contrast by having cold meeting cold, like a blue meeting a warm, very warm orange or a yellow. And the interest is when you are able to create that contrast.
Are there rules to abstract art?
I don't think so. Not that I've ever heard. I think that there's certain things that you really want to do. I mean, you want to have line in the art. You want to have some kind of line in it. You want to have just create some kind of interest of contrasting colors, and they're just some basic things that you want to try and achieve. It was about 6 years ago. I decided I would go back to Vietnam, and because I had thought about Vietnam on and off for such a long period of time, I just wanted to try and bring a close to everything. Landed at Ho Chi Minh City, and it was quite contrast, obviously, to when I was there in 1970. 1970, everyone was riding bikes, and people were squatting on the ground to use the rice bowls and stuff. And when I went back, everyone was on motor scooters and sitting on plastic chairs, these little plastic chairs, eating their soup and rice and stuff. A couple of things were very difficult. One was some of the museums, the war museums in Saigon, because they would be showing pictures of the Americans hauling prisoners tied with ropes around their necks and things over their heads, and they would show American tanks being blown up and service members being yanked around, and So that part of it was very difficult, obviously, but the city was very beautiful, and I was pretty shocked how modern it was and how many the big name stores were in Saigon, and beautiful parks. It was just a beautiful city. And I went to all the places that I was stationed at that felt good, and I remember a lot of different things. Like there was a mountain called Nui Va Din outside of Tay Ninh, and I used to feel the rumble of B-52s dropping bombs there because we controlled the top of the mountain, and the Vietnamese controlled the bottom, and we're always trying to get to the top. So, and helicopters, the shooting their rockets and mortars, and you could see the lines of the tracers. It was something else. It was something else. So I went there, and then I went to a couple of other places I was at, and I had a driver for a day, and he charged me $40 to drive around through the entire day, and it was great. All in all, I had just a wonderful time. I was there on Memorial Day, which was very, very tough for me, remembering all the men who had died and were wounded. But that was it. It finalized everything for me. So when I came home, I felt pretty good.